Sekou Chelle, the new coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So I'm here to tell you things to expect from him based on his time with Mali, because he was also the former coach of Mali.
I don't know what I'm doing.
1. He lost to only West African teams. So Chelle spent 2 years with Mali, where he lost only 3 games in those 2 years. And guess who he lost to? He lost 1-0 to Gambia, who are in West Africa. Then lost 2-1 to Ivory Coast at the AFCON, another West African country. Then lost 2-1 to Ghana, also in West Africa. 2. The young players are going to succeed. So one of the biggest successes for Chelle with Mali was the introduction of this youngster, Kamara Doumbia, for Mali. Currently, he has scored 10 goals and 4 assists in 20 games for Mali, but this guy actually had his debut under Chelle. Other young players in Mali like Nene Dogeles and also El Bilal Thuri and a lot more like Musa Diarra, plenty players had a lot of good times and played very well under Chelle. 3. No player is bigger than the team. So Yves Bissouma was the best player for Mali going into the 2022 AFCON. He was the biggest icon, the biggest star of the team, but he spent most of the game in the AFCON on the bench. In the first game against South Africa, he played 58 minutes in the game before being substituted. In the second game, he played only 6 minutes against Tunisia. Then in the round 16, Yves Bissouma spent the whole 90 minutes on the bench, didn't even kick a football in the game. Then in the quarterfinal, which was against Ivory Coast, he only came on the 90th minute when they were getting ready to go into extra time. That was when Yves Bissouma came on. So no matter how big you are under Chelle, you can equally sit on the bench. 4, when you are part of his team, it is very difficult for you to lose your position in the team. So one thing he really came under a lot of criticisms in Mali was using players who were not really active in their clubs. Players like Keki Koyate, Dade Sekou, and even Sekou were not really getting regular minutes with their clubs, but they were consistently playing for Mali and Chelle. And all these players also performed for Mali. 5, his team scores a lot of goals. So under Chelle, Mali had a lot of games where they scored many goals. Example, his first game he played was a 4-0 win against that is Congo Republic. He had also other games like winning by 6 goals to 2 against Guinea-Bissau, beating South Sudan by 4 goals to 0, beating Saudi Arabia by 3 goals to 1. So in Chelle's games, he scores a lot of goals, and Nigeria should expect this also from him. Then for local players, it might be difficult to get into Chelle's team. So during his time in Mali, majority of the players he used were foreign-based players. Even though he invited a few local players, one of the notable ones was Borema Kone, who was playing in Mali's 3rd division. So he was in the 3rd division and he got invited into the national team ahead of all the players who were playing in the Premier League in Mali and also playing in the 2nd division. All of them were put aside, and then a 3rd division player was brought into the national team. But that was mainly because he was a young player under 17 years. And most of the local players who get into the national team are young players, mostly under the age of 20 years. These are just some points, but tell me in the comments your expectations for Sekou Chelle with Nigeria.